We all want to do good things, right things. Sometimes it's difficult to do the right good thing all the time. In this series, we're looking at how some of our emotions can get in the way, or they can discourage us when we're walking through something, or we're trying to do things the right way, and when we are doing good things. Our series verse is found in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, and it says, "Let us not grow weary or tired of doing good, for in due season we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Today, the emotion we're going to be looking at is anger. Should I be offended that they asked me to teach about anger? I'm not angry, am I?
I'm not.
Okay, maybe I see the point. Anyways, we all feel angry sometimes. I mean, the cause or reason for our anger can be a large variety of different things, from getting our feelings hurt, seeing something that is just not right or unjust, or just being so bothered or annoyed that we lose our temper. I mean, come on, Billy, how many times do I have to tell you to stop running around? Anyway, did you know that there is a right anger and a wrong anger? Pretty interesting, right? Our memory verse talks a little bit about this in the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 26. It says, "Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger." So being angry is not a sin. Interesting, right? We need to figure out what kind of anger we are feeling and not let ourselves hold on to our anger, like our memory verse says. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Anger can get us off the path that God has us on. Anger can keep us from doing those good things that our series verse is talking about. There was a man long ago who dealt with anger. Not me. I'm not that old. He loved God, and he was used by God to help a lot of people. The only problem was when God asked him to go and help the same people who had hurt him and were his enemies. These people were definitely not doing the right things. Our big answer for today is, I can handle my anger the right way. Say it with me. I can handle my anger the right way. Today, we have an amazing contestant who's going to take up the challenge of our 30-second Bible story challenge. And I don't really know who it is, but rumor has it they're pretty awesome. So why don't we sit up straight and tall, and let's all check out this 30-second Bible story challenge.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Hey everyone, I am going to try and tell an entire Bible story in only 30 seconds. Now, that seems really difficult to do, and only one person has ever done it before, but I think if I can try really hard, because last time I wasn't trying. If I try really, I can do it. I am determined, I am focused, I had a good breakfast, and here we go. God asked a man named Jonah to go to Nineveh and tell the people there to stop being bad. Jonah didn't want to go help the people there, so instead of listening to God, Jonah ran to the sea where he found the ship that was going the opposite way. Shortly after the boat left the shore, a very bad storm came up, tossing the boat around. The sailors decided that the storm was Jonah's fault. They wanted to do something bad, so instead he got angry. Jonah then told him, "I'm running away from God, and God asked me to do something, and it's my fault. This is happening. If you want to throw me into the sea," the storm then picked up Jonah and threw him into the sea. The storm immediately calmed the sea, and then the sea was still. And then a huge fish swallowed up Jonah, and then Jonah stayed there for 3 days, and then 3 nights, and then Jonah asked, "If God forgive him for running," and then they ran out and tried to land, and then Lord told Jonah to go to second Nineveh, and then stop doing it. Then Jonah started, people listened, and they prayed, and then God, and then sorry for being all the bad things, and then Jonah went on the hill and sulked, and then God and explained to him, and he loves everyone. I didn't get it. This is rigged, okay? I'm sorry. Bad loser. I'm not a bad loser. Just gotta try harder next time. Anyway, well, if you missed some of that because I definitely was just mixing words together, here is some more information. One day, God asked a man named Jonah to go to a place called Nineveh and tell the people living there to stop being bad. Pretty simple. The only problem was that Jonah didn't want to help the people there. He knew that their people were bad and he wanted them to be punished for all of their mistakes. So instead of listening to God, Jonah thought that he would just run away from Nineveh and not do what God asked him. I mean, what is he thinking? He ran to the sea where he found a ship that was going to another city, a road trip. Shortly after the boat left the shore, a very bad storm came up and started tossing the boat around. I get really seasick, so this would not be fun for me. All the men were very afraid, so they started to throw all their packages and all their bags overboard in hopes that they wouldn't drown. The captain said to Jonah, "Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he can help us." Captain's mind is in the right place. Meanwhile, the other sailors decided that the storm was Jonah's fault. Their mind is also in the right place. He must have had done something wrong to make his God so angry. So they asked Jonah, "What have you done? What can we do to make this storm stop?" Jonah told them that I am running away from something that God asked me to do. It is my fault that this is happening. If you throw me into the sea, the storm will stop. Okay, Jonah stepping up. The men didn't want to hurt Jonah by throwing him off the boat. So they tried to row the best they could, but that storm just got worse and worse. So they decided to pick up Jonah and throw him into the sea. Someone's got to take one for the team. The storm immediately calmed and the sea became still. So then the captain and the crew looked out to the sea and a huge fish came and swallowed up Jonah. Bye-bye, Jonah. Jonah stayed in the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. I wonder if there was Wi-Fi. While Jonah was trapped inside the fish, he did a lot of praying to God. He asked God to forgive him for running away, and he also thanked God for allowing him not to drown. Duh. After the 3rd day, God told the fish to spit Jonah out into the dry land. That was probably not a good smell. And the fish did just that. Then the Lord told Jonah a 2nd time to go back to Nineveh. This time, Jonah obeyed God, and he left for Nineveh right away. When Jonah got there, he warned them that God said that they should stop doing bad things, or that in 40 days, the city and everything in the world, or in their land at least, would be destroyed. To Jonah's surprise, the people actually listened to him, and they prayed to God, and they said sorry for all the bad things that were done. When God saw that they were trying to do good instead of bad, he felt love for them, and he didn't destroy their city. That could be the end of the story, except Jonah left the city very angry. He was mad that God didn't punish the people. He's so stuck on this punishment thing. He knew that God was a loving God and that he didn't want to destroy anything if he didn't have to. So Jonah went on a hill and he sulked. He cried, is a better way to say that. God saw Jonah and he knew how he was feeling, so he explained to Jonah that he loves everyone. I mean, after all, he did make us. Okay, listen, I know I didn't win, but I feel like some of my story was way longer than some of yours. So again, it was rigged and we're gonna talk about this later. But outside of me being super angry, Jonah was also super angry. I mean, if we read more into his story, we see that God had asked him to go and save the very people that had fought him and hurt him, and his people as well. Jonah didn't agree with God that the people of Nineveh should have a chance of salvation. And this is not right anger, okay? Jonah being angry at the unjust things that the people of Nineveh did to him and his people wasn't wrong. Jonah wanting to choose what happened to those people was wrong. You following with me? God asked Jonah several times, "Do you do well to be angry? Do you do well to be angry, Jonah?" God was asking Jonah if he was right in his anger and if his anger was serving him or anyone else well. The answer was no. The real person that Jonah's anger was hurting was himself. Jonah wasn't doing anyone any good. He was literally only hurting himself. His anger had got him completely off track. In fact, it got him going in the completely opposite direction. So then how should we deal with our anger exactly? How should we handle our anger in the right way? Well, it's like our big answer says, I can handle my anger in the right way. And I think I do need a little bit of assistance here. So we're going to have an amazing illustration. So why don't we all sit up straight and tall yet again? Keep those backs nice and firm there. And let's all check out this illustration.
Today I have a few things with me to help us learn all about what happens when we get angry. I have some empty film canisters, some Alka-Seltzer tabs, and some water here with me in this pitcher, and red food coloring for funsies, and some brown Play-Doh, okay? And I have some friends, but we're gonna be using those later, okay? Now, the first thing that we are going to look at is how we can handle our feelings of anger the wrong way. The Bible says in Ephesians 4:26, be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. The Bible actually tells us that it is okay to be angry. I bet you didn't see that coming, okay? We absolutely will get angry and should get angry at some things. But we're not supposed to sin in our anger. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look at it together. This Alka-Seltzer here, that's a fun word to say, right? This is like our anger. It causes a reaction in us that we're gonna get to see here in just a minute. And there's really no way around it. But it's what we do with that anger and how we handle that anger that matters. So we're about to see something pretty cool, okay? So I have our first experiment set up here. This is a volcano. Okay, see this? Yes, I worked really hard to make this for you today out of our brown Play-Doh. All right, so I have actually covered one of our film canisters that look just like this with the brown Play-Doh, and it is now a teeny tiny model of a giant ferocious volcano, all right? And I also thought it would be fun to add some of our friends here as well. Remember, I have Mr. Andrew here. What's up? Okay, he's gonna be in here. Yes, he's going next to the volcano. Don't worry, I'll explain. And I also have Mr. John here. Wait, we can do like the dance. Okay, so he's here too. He's gonna be with us. He's also getting placed really close to the volcano. And also, just to kick it up a notch, we're gonna add a few drops of food coloring inside of our volcano. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, no more, no less. 3 drops. All right, so next we're gonna add some anger to our setup. In this scenario that we have, we are the volcano. Our friends and family are hanging out with us as they do, chilling, right? And we get angry at something. We feel the anger rise up, but we don't talk about it. Sometimes, right? We don't ask ourselves, why did that thing make us angry? We just sit in our anger. And eventually, let's see what happens. We have some of our anger in here. What happens eventually? Oh no. What is happening? Our anger is overflowing and it goes everywhere and it affects those that we are around. Poor Mr. Andrew and Mr. John, I'm so sorry. And we're actually not even upset with them in the first place. Or maybe the people that we are upset with, they don't even know why. This is not the right way to handle our anger. look at poor Mr. John, right? He just got like exploded on. That's like really sad. You're covered in lava, Mr. John. I'm really sorry. So let's switch it up. Let's look at how we can handle our anger the right way. Okay, here is our second experiment. Here we have our film canister, remember, which is us. Now, this one is going to be disguised as a rocket ship instead of a volcano this time. So I made a cute little rocket ship costume. Okay, so cute, for our film canister, all right? And inside here, I have a little bit of water, just like before in our volcano. And just like before, we are going to get angry at something. Now, we feel the anger rise up. We need to talk about it. We need to ask ourselves, why did that thing make us angry? We need to direct it at the problem or situation that made us angry with the goal to find a solution, to fix the injustice, to help make things right. Now, let's look at what happens when I add anger, or our Alka-Seltzer here, to our rocket outside. Clearly, can't take off in a rocket ship in here. So come with me. We shouldn't just be angry or frustrated about something and hold it in or complain. We should ask ourselves, how can I help? How can I communicate? How can I educate people about this situation? If we can direct our anger in a healthy way toward the real issue, it can be fuel, just like it was in our rocket. Don't let your anger overflow and hurt people like it did in our volcano. Ephesians 4:26 says this, "Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger." Let's deal with our anger the right way and right away.
When we feel angry, we need to ask ourselves some really important questions. Why am I angry? What am I angry about? Is this something God would be angry about? How do you know if he would or wouldn't? We have to know God's word, and we have to know God's character to be able to answer that one. If the answer is no, this is not something God would be angry about, then we have to let our anger go. Let it go. Let it go. I know it's hard, but we have to do this by forgiving the person who made us angry. And we need to realize that our anger actually may be coming from an issue that we have, like pride, or maybe even some hurt that we haven't dealt with yet. And lastly, we need to pray and we need to ask God to heal our hearts. If the answer is yes, this is something God would be angry about, then we ask, how does God want me to handle this situation? What does the Bible say about it? How can we lovingly communicate our anger? And can we help those who are dealing with the injustice we are upset about? Can we help those people out at all? The biggest thing that we need to remember, okay, you ready? We are not God, and nor should we try to do his job. This is what Jonah really struggled with. Jonah wanted to judge the people of Nineveh and ended up getting all of those innocent sailors. Those innocent sailors. He ended up getting all those innocent sailors on the boat trapped into a storm that they didn't deserve. This week, I want to challenge you to ask yourself those important questions when you are feeling angry. Why am I angry? Is this something God would be angry about? If we stop to talk to God about our feelings, his Holy Spirit is sure to lead us the right way. We need to make sure we are allowing God to be God and that we're staying on the good path that he has for us. And don't forget our big answer. Say it with me. We can handle our anger the right way.